The fireworks were a distraction. Here is the foundation of the ego's thought system. It names things. It labels things. It celebrates shadows and calls them light. It turns illusions into holidays and confusion into tradition. So here comes the 4th of July. A national day, an important event, an explosion of color and sound. But what are we actually celebrating? And more deeply, who is the we that celebrates? They say we're celebrating independence, but from what, from who, and for how long? Because the Course says the name of God is our inheritance, not American, not free, not independent. God didn't write the Declaration. God didn't sign it in ink. God didn't make countries, flags, or borders. Only the ego names things and forgets what they are. Only the ego divides and then pretends it can unify. Only the ego seeks freedom while reinforcing chains. So here's the ego's sleight of hand. It sets off fireworks so you won't notice the fire within. It gives you bright colors and loud sounds, symbols of joy and excitement, but never joy itself. Only noise and light shows to mimic the peace it cannot understand. It says freedom is a right. It says liberty must be earned. It says your value is proven by what you do, what you sacrifice, and who you serve. But truth doesn't say but. Truth doesn't negotiate. Truth doesn't make promises it has to keep. God has no future to protect, no past to defend, no sides to take. The ego declares independence, but the soul never left home. So let's take a deeper look at this celebration. Fireworks are beautiful, but dangerous. They awe and they injure, they shine and they blind. That is the ego's entire thought system, a duality dressed up in glitter, a split mind pretending it's whole. And just like fireworks, the ego's promises explode, then vanish into smoke. Different cultures, different customs, different stories told in different languages. But what does God know of difference? What does oneness celebrate? Can the eternal join a parade of temporary things? They say fireworks bring people together. But if it takes a bang and a blaze to feel connection, then what have we really remembered? Have we remembered God or distraction? They say it creates a sense of wonder. Yes, and that's exactly how this world was made. A wandering mind, a wandering thought, a wandering away from source. And then came the dream. The Course says this world was made as a place for God to be forgotten. It says the world is not God's will. It says you have nothing to learn here except to forgive yourself for believing in it. So today, instead of celebrating separation, instead of waving flags for a body that lives for a moment and dies in confusion, instead of shooting fire into the sky hoping to feel alive, we pause. We refocus. Not our cameras, not our country, our minds. Because lesson 185 doesn't say, I want the pride of a nation. It doesn't say, I want the right to be different. It says, I want the peace of God. And that peace cannot be found in smoke. It cannot be found in spectacle. It cannot be earned by keeping promises the ego can't keep. The only freedom that matters is freedom from illusion. The only independence worth claiming is from the belief in separation. And the only celebration that heals is the stillness of remembrance. Today the world will cheer. But somewhere beneath the noise, there is a quiet bell ringing in your soul. It does not explode. It does not entertain. It simply calls you home. When the fuse is lit outside, keep the flame within. The fireworks were a distraction, but the truth never needed a holiday.